Express coverage of round one of the RX8 Cup, brought to you by Yellow Express and round sponsor One Stop Car Wash Equipment. Phillip Island turned on all the conditions for the return of the RX8 Cup to the famous Victorian circuit. Saturday morning saw the 18 entrants facing a day of blistering sun and 30-degree temperatures as the first practice session got underway. Defending champion and last round winner Tom Shaw was looking for an ideal start to his year, but it was soon clear he wasn't going to have it all his own way. Tom's brother Ben was also fast, setting the session's third fastest time with a 1:53.86 to relegate his brother to only fourth fastest. Local driver Jack Pinachia, one of only two Victorians in the series, showed pace early, setting the second fastest time in his Dale Patterson Motorsport Monster car with the fastest lap of 1:53.82 seconds. It was Luke Webber who set the fastest time in the morning, only 0.03 of a second quicker than the young Pinachia. The other local driver in the field was Glenn Gamble. Making his RX8 Cup debut, he was further down the pack but having a ball. Gamble not only joining the series as a driver, but sponsoring the round through his business, One Stop Car Wash Equipment.
It's a great series. I love being involved, and it helps out the people that are organising it. They're doing a great job, and anything I can do to help them helps the series. They're a friendly bunch of guys and girls. It's an affordable series, and it's also good fun. Like, it's not all serious. It's there is a fun side to it as well. One Stop Car Wash Equipment, we're the distributors for Laser Wash, which is an in-bay automatic car wash. So we maintain and install self-serve and automatic car wash equipment in Victoria. I've never been involved in car racing before, and it's a good way to get into it.
The second session and things only got hotter. Webber was still the fastest, but Ben Shaw had improved to set the second fastest time, still just ahead of brother Tom. Pinachia was fourth, with newcomer Justin Lewis impressive in taking the fifth fastest time. Like Gamble, Lewis is a newcomer to the series, and like Gamble, is showing his support off the track as well, with series sponsorship from his company, Yellow Express.
Well, Yellow Express, we provide a man and a big fan on demand. We do it super fast, so obviously the connection between motor racing and Yellow Express is it's pretty irresistible, to be honest. Also, I think more companies, marquee companies and marquee sponsors like Yellow Express, I think it's a smart move marketing-wise for your company to get involved in motor racing. Not many companies do, and it's a no-brainer. My first time here, mind-blowing. Just wow, super fast. And I'm new to the sport. I've only been doing it 6 months. I've had, as I said, a great car built by my brother, Rotary Motion, and I've had some great tuition from YouTube, and I nailed the fastest time just then, and had a bit of an epic tragedy at the checkered flag, but fun, double fun, zoom.
It was a late start to qualifying, and by the time the cars hit the track, conditions had changed yet again. The hot northerly that had pushed temperatures into the mid-30s was now replaced by a typical Phillip Island southerly buster that dropped the temperature down to the low 20s. The top five was separated by less than 1 second, with Tom Shaw putting in a last lap screamer to take pole position from Luke Webber. Jack Pinachia rounded out the top three, with Ben Silvestro starting alongside him on the second row. Justin Barnes was next out of position 5, with Ben Shaw alongside him in 6th. A great first-up performance by Justin Lewis in the Yellow Express car alongside Jackson Noakes. Miles Brigliglio was 9th fastest, with Terry Lewis in the Rotary Motion car rounding out the top 10. After a night of celebration at the local RSL club, where the awards for season 2022 were handed out, it was a very different set of conditions that welcomed competitors for race 1 on Sunday morning. The cold southerly was now even stronger, and it brought with it some light rain. Conditions that suited local driver Jack Pinachia right down to the ground. And as the cars pull away from the line under very tricky conditions, it's pole sitter Tom Shaw who jumps into an early lead. In car now with Martin Lyle back in the pack, showing just how tricky conditions are on the damp track. He's taking it very easy and he's being rounded up on the outside by Macy Place and then on the inside by Kiara Zebatakis. David Grice is also taking it very easy through Southern Loop, and it looks like he's also going to lose a spot, being rounded up by Macy Place as they go through Southern Loop. Up front, it's local driver Jack Penachia who rounded up Shaw at Southern Loop to take an early lead from Shaw, with Webber, Barnes and Justin Lewis filling out the next places. I spoke to Jack earlier. He was saying how he'd love to see it rain all day because he was enjoying racing in the wet, and he's certainly proving that here. A comfortable lead as they go through Siberia for the first time. Lap 2 and Penachia has extended his lead over the rest of the field. Tom Shaw still in second, but under strong pressure from Justin Barnes, with the pair making a break from Webber, Miles Brigliglio, Terry and Justin Lewis and Jackson Noakes. Turn 1 and a spin there to Ryan Marshall as Ben Silvestro takes avoiding action. Thankfully, it looks like there's no damage, but those two will have a lot of work to do to recover those lost places. Back in car with Martin Lyle, still in a dice with the green machine of Macy Place further down the pack, but our only other Victorian driver, Glenn Gamble, has disappeared from the lap charts on lap 3. In the fight for the minor places, Shaw is still second, but Webber's passed Barnes for third place. Webber's now under pressure himself from Brigliglio, with the battling Lewis brothers right on their tail. That's William Ham in the House of Alpaca car and David Grice. They're having their own fight now further back in the field, with a recovering Ryan Marshall and Ben Silvestro closing fast. Penachia now a mile out in front, comfortably setting his own pace and leaving the rest of the field to squabble over the minor places. Terry Lewis is now fourth as Barnes and Brigliglio get close in the fight for fifth, with Justin Lewis still well in contention and doing a great job in his first race. With one lap remaining, Tom Shaw makes his move for second using the slipstream down the main straight to round up Webber, and he makes the pass stick as they head into Doan Corner. Webber still close as they head into the hairpin, but any chance he had at regaining the second step of the podium disappears as he runs wide, giving Shaw the break he needs to hang on to second place. The checkered flag waves, and it's the local driver, Jack Penachia, who crosses the line comfortably in front in an excellent wet weather drive to lead home Tom Shaw, with Luke Webber holding on to third. Justin Barnes was fourth from Briglaglio, with Terry Lewis leading home his brother Justin by less than half a second. Jackson Noakes was next from Thomas Derwent, with Ben Shaw rounding out the top 10. Better conditions for the second race, except for the wind, which is even stronger now after the rain. Jack Penachia starts from pole position and leads the pack down to Doan Corner for the first time. We're on board with David Rice as he heads down towards Doan Corner, and just in front of him there is the car of Ben Shaw. As they approach the corner formerly known as Honda, it's Penachia in the lead, with Webber, Tom Shaw, Barnes and Justin Lewis following closely behind. Webber makes a move to take the lead as Penachia runs wide at Honda, but Jack manages to hold on to second place as Shaw makes a challenge. Further back, David Grice is locked in a fight with Ben Silvestro, but he falls short after making this move into MG. Webber's still leading, but the top four are all close, with Justin Lewis not far behind in fifth place. Shaw and Barnes both overtake Penachia, with the top three finding the dry conditions much more favourable. Back in car with Justin Lewis in fifth place at the moment, and he's looking at the battle between Barnes and Jack Penachia as they head through Stoner Curve and head towards Miller Corner once again. Lewis taking a wider outside line there, trying to swip back on the inside as they come round the corner. Still Webber in front from Shaw, and Barnes has gone through on Penachia. So now Justin Barnes has moved into third place and is setting out after Tom Shaw. Webber breaks away with a small gap to Shaw, with Barnes right on his tail. Penachia is now under pressure from Justin Lewis as they head into Doan Corner. The pressure tells and Jack spins off, promoting Lewis to fourth place. Bad luck for our first race winner, and Jack now has a lot of work to do to salvage some valuable points from this race. Up front, Tom Shaw now challenges Webber, and their squabble has allowed both Barnes and Lewis to drive back into contention. The two-way battle for the lead has now become a foursome. Barnes comes from behind to pass Shaw and then sets up a classic inside passing move for the lead into Miller hairpin. In car with Justin Lewis, and he's in the perfect position to catch all the action up front and also take advantage of any mistakes that might come. Once again over the line, and Webber briefly takes the lead again, but Barnes shows who's boss at turn 1 to retake the lead. Tom Shaw takes a leaf out of Barnes' book and goes around the outside of Webber at Southern Loop to set up a pass under brakes at the corner formerly known as Honda. Back in car with Justin Lewis again in the yellow express car. He's not far off the back of Webber, so he still has a chance at third place, if not higher. David Grice is leading William Ham once again, with Martin Lyle third of that group, just outside the top 10. Lap 7, and Shaw once again has the speed on the Gardner Straight, powering past Barnes and taking both Webber and Lewis with him, relegating Barnes back to 4th place. Ham is still in front of Lyle, but Grice has checked out, and he's now in hot pursuit of Ryan Marshall. Macy Place is locked in a fight further back in the field with Glenn Gamble, and the two have been swapping positions right throughout the race. Last lap, and Shaw is still leading from Webber, with Lewis seemingly comfortable in third, as Justin Noakes moves into 4th place ahead of Barnes, who seems to have fallen right off the pace. And that's the way it stays, with the delighted Tom Shaw crossing the finish line first after a perfectly judged drive. Webber is second ahead of another impressive performance by Justin Lewis. Jackson Noakes is 4th ahead of Barnes, who hangs on for 5th after being so impressive early. Ben Shaw's next ahead of Miles Brigluglio, Terry Lewis and Jack Penachia, who recovered for 9th place, with Thomas Derwent rounding out the top 10 for race 2. Back on the starting line once again for the third race of the weekend, and so far 2 different winners. Can we expect a third different winner in as many races? Conditions are still dry, but that gale force wind is still blowing and making life very difficult for everybody. And as the field heads into turn 1, it's Tom Shaw who leads the way, and as we jump back in the car with Martin Lyle, he looks a lot more comfortable in these dry conditions. Shaw leads the pack going into Miller Corner, but the fight for second's on in earnest between Webber and Justin Barnes, with Justin Lewis and Noakes close behind as they file through Siberia for the first time. Across the line, Shaw still in the lead, but not for long. Barnes makes up a lot of ground into turn 1 to relegate Shaw back into second. Once again, Barnes proving to be very, very quick through turns 1 and 2. Webber's holding down third, just ahead of Justin Lewis, with Jackson Noakes in 5th place and under challenge from Ben Shaw. Around the Hayshed sweeper, and Webber runs wide, throwing out a challenge to Shaw, but the defending champion hangs on to keep second as they head over Lukey Heights. Lap 3 and Barnes is still in front, but there's nothing in it, with Shaw still holding off Webber and Justin Lewis ahead of Noakes. Ben Shaw's next ahead of Terry Lewis, who's under challenge by Jack Pinachia, and the three-way fight between Thomas Derwent, Miles Brigaglio and Ryan Marshall. Another attempt at the slipstream move by Shaw on the main straight, and yet again he comes up alongside Barnes, but Barnes once again very fast through Doohan Corner, and he holds off Shaw, who now also needs to concentrate on the challenge of Webber in third and Lewis close behind in fourth. Ben Silvestro at Siberia is holding out Brigaglio ahead of David Grice. Yet another slipstream attempt by Shaw, and yet again Barnes holds him out as they swing through turn 1. Luke Webber's right behind Shaw at this stage, and Justin Lewis still not out of contention as they come through Southern Loop once again. Barnes has a bit of a break over Shaw, but Webber is right on the tail of the champion as they head up towards Miller Corner once again. A bit of a wobble there by our leader, and Shaw has been squeezed on the outside and can't get past at that point as they come through Siberia. He's still right alongside, but Barnes holds on to that lead. So a slight mistake there by Barnes, but manages to stay in front as they head back up towards Lukey Heights. As they swing through Hayshed for the final time, it's still Barnes in front with Shaw. Then comes Webber. Close behind him is Justin Lewis, and then comes Jackson Noakes. A big gap then to the next car through, which should be Ben Shaw. Here he comes now, and he's comfortable in that position now before the battling pair of Terry Lewis and Jack Panachia. And as they come onto the main straight for the final time, it's still Barnes in front, but he gets a little bit sideways there, loses a little bit of momentum, and Shaw is right on his tail now, pulls out of the slipstream. It's a drag race to the finish. It's still Barnes, it's Shaw, it's Shaw! Shaw beats Barnes across the line by the closest of margins. Third place will go to Luke Webber, then Justin Lewis. Jackson Noakes is next from Ben Shaw, Terry Lewis, Jack Panachia, then comes Ryan Marshall, and rounding out the top 10, Miles Brigaglio. What a great way to finish a great weekend of racing here at Phillip Island, and that gives the overall win for the weekend to Tom Shaw, ahead of Justin Barnes, with Luke Webber in third place.
First time driving the car in the rain, that was interesting. We did change the settings a bit. The track dried up. I thought that the car felt not what it could be, but I put up with the second race, and then third race, like, nah, I'm changing it. So I put it back to where I thought it should be, and then it felt really good in the third race. Sort of tried to, I was on the back of them two in the front there, and hassling, just wait for them to make a mistake. No mistakes, eh? So, yeah, yep.
Had a little problem in race 2, which cost me the win, but we had to fight back. End of turn 1, I think I'm probably the bravest down at turn 1, and that kept me out in front in race 3. But yeah, very, very happy to get back up on the podium again. Yeah, it's been a magnificent weekend. It's been great. But just got pipped to the line by about 0.4 of a second, which would be about a foot. So yeah, just couldn't hold Tom off. He's pretty quick.
Still trying to capture the moment. It was an awesome weekend. Some of the racing I've had with the boys up the front this weekend, it's just I don't think you can get that anywhere else. To have 4 or 5 cars battling for the lead on the last lap and battling for the win. We've got a lot of respect for the guys I raced with this weekend, and to have so many great battles and not have any contact at all was really good. So, a great weekend. To pick up a third round win in a row here is pretty special for the team as well. So, can't be happier. Yeah, I'm not great in the wet, so seeing that weather come over this morning was a bit worrying. It was supposed to be cloudy all day and it started pissing down, so really tricky conditions. You got a track that's not super wet, but a track that's not dry either, so it was just like an ice rink out there. So we managed to hold position. Jack Panacea, he's just set the standard in the wet, so he just took off. And we just managed to keep that second place with some great battles around me. And then that last race, the Savo, was just incredible. Justin Barnes and I accepted that I was second, and I thought, we'll see if we can get a run on the straight. And I think we beat him by 0.04 of a second. It was just nothing. So it was a pretty special win in the end to bring home the round.
And there you have it. Congratulations to all of the competitors. Great racing right throughout the weekend with not a single safety car to block the landscape. Also a special shout out to all of our volunteer marshals who made the weekend possible under some very tough conditions at Phillip Island. Now remember, the second round of the 2023 Yellow Express RX8 Cup will once again see the cars back here in Victoria, this time at Winton Raceway on March the 17th to the 19th. So if round one is anything to go by, it'll be one you won't want to miss. Stay tuned for more action from the Yellow Express RX8 Cup.